All right, guys, we are going to take some notes tonight over point slope form. This is another way of getting an equation of a linear line. It's no more complicated. It's just another way to get where you're going, more than one way. And we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, point slope, like I said, is the other format for straight line equations, and it's just called point slope form. For this one, they're going to give you an x1, y1, and a slope of m, and have you plug it into this formula, and you'll see right here. It is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now, I know that these subscripts can get pretty scary looking, but don't let it scare you. They're just intended to indicate the point that they give you. You have the generic x and the generic y. Right, here's the generic y and here's the generic x. They're always going to be in your equation. You're not going to ever get rid of those. And then you've got your specific x and y from the point that they gave you. The specific x and y is what's subscripted in the formula with the little tiny ones. And this is how you're going to use it. I'm going to show you on the next step. Like I said in the last video, the best way I know to explain to you how point slope works is to just give you an example. And this example wants you to find the equation of a straight line that has a slope of m equals 4 and passes through the point -1, -6. So remember, this is your x1, y1. Your slope, which is m, is 4. You're looking for your slope intercept. So this is just another way of getting it. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to plug it into this formula. You know, your m is 4, like I said, x is -1, and your y is -6. So let's just plug it in. Remember, your generic y doesn't ever change. Your y1 is the one that changes. Your y1 is -6 equals, your slope is 4. Your generic x never changes. And then your x1 is a -1. Now, judging by what you know in the past, negative and a negative hopefully makes a positive. So this changes to positives. So now you got y plus 6 equals 4 times x plus 1. All right, that is point slope form. Pretty simple. All right, so now let's just simplify it. If you've got y plus 6, you're going to distribute your 4. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 1 is 4. And if we're going to get y by itself, we're going to have to subtract this 6. And the only like term that 6 has is that 4 on the other side. That's why I subtracted it from 4. That cancels. Leaves you with y equals 4x minus 2. That is your equation of the line. You could have also solved it by using slope intercept, but I wanted you to use point slope formula so that you knew how to use it as well, because there's more than one way to find your answer. And that's how you do it. Pretty simple. Okay, I'm going to show you, just like we did last time, same way we're going to use point slope form, but I've given you 2 points instead of telling you exactly what the slope is, so you've got to find the slope first using y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Here's your x1, y1, your x2, y2. So now you just substitute in. You've got 2 minus 4 over 1 minus a -2. We know those two negatives make a positive. So now you got a -2 over 3. So your m is a -2/3. So you got your m. It doesn't matter which point you choose. I'm just going to pick the first one because that's the one I always pick. My x is -2. My y is 4. And my m is a -2/3. We're going to use the point slope formula to get the equation of the line. Remember, your generic y never changes. Your y1 is 4. Your m is a -2/3. Your x, generic x, never changes. And your x1 is a -2. And these two negatives we know make positive. So when we simplify it, we got y minus 4 equals -2/3 times x plus 2. Now we've just got a couple more steps. And we know that this stays the same for now. -2/3 times x is a -2/3 x. And a negative 2/3 times 2 is going to be a negative 4/3. Okay, got one last thing. You're going to add 4 to both sides. I know this is really messy and I'm sorry. Try to keep it as neat as I can. Y equals negative 2/3 x, and then negative 4/3 plus 4 becomes 12/3 or 8/3, either one. You can just leave it like that and that's your answer. Pretty simple stuff. All right, guys, on this one, I'm going to let you try one problem. I want you to attempt it, pause this video, work it out, and then when you're finished, unpause the video and watch me work it out so that you can check and see if you got it right. Okay, here we go. Well, just 1 second. Let's see. Now, we've got x1, y1, x2, y2. And we're going to use, give me 1 second, I'll put the formula back up there for you. All right, there is the formula, and I'll put it in blue so it's easy to see. Okay, now, we're going to work it out. But first we have to find what our slope actually is. So, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So you've got negative 7, minus a negative 19 over negative 2 minus 1. All right, so now these two negatives make a positive. Negative 7 plus 19 is going to be 12 over negative 2 minus 1 is going to be a negative 3. So when you simplify that, 12 divided by negative 3 is 4. So your m equals 4. So now we know our m. I always pick my first point. So m equals negative 4, x equals 1, and y, x1, y1 equals negative 19. So now we're going to use this formula, point slope formula. Our generic y never changes. Our y1 is a negative 19. Our m is negative 4. Generic x never changes, and then it's going to be minus 1. So now these two negatives make a positive. Y plus 19 equals negative 4 times x minus 1. So now all we have left to do is simplify. Y plus 19 equals negative 4x plus 4. Move 19 over on the other side. We have to subtract it because the opposite of addition is subtracting. Y equals negative 4x. And a negative 19 plus 4 gives you a negative 15. So your equation of the line is y equals negative 4x minus 15. Okay, guys, that's it for tonight. If you are still a little bit unsure, start this video over and watch it again. Take you some good notes. Be ready to do the activity tomorrow. Like I always say, get a good night's sleep. Have breakfast in the morning, and I'll see you tomorrow.